I honestly think, and this is where within the industry and within gut health products, we really need to understand what is the mode of action of that product. This product's mode of action is actual gut restoration. If there's been issues present, whether that's bacteria growth within the body, whether that's if your mucus lining is not really where it needs to be. So those things are what is going to be addressed by GI Plus. Something like a digestive enzyme is going to help the body produce enzymes that it might not be producing on its own or in the quantity that it's needed to then digest the food. So these work on two different ends of the spectrum. Ideally, if your gut health is where it needs to be, if your good bacteria is where it needs to be, and you're properly chewing and digesting your food, you really should not need a long-term digestive enzyme plan. Again, if you're not creating enough enzymes due to, potentially for some reason you were sick, again, gut bacteria is not where it needs to be, then both could be used and utilized, but neither of these things should be a long-term, every day for the rest of your life type thing. We want to seek to basically get gut restoration back, and once it's there and intact, these products should not have to be continued to be used long-term. So the gut health category is vast. I mean, we can look at fiber products, and if you search fiber products, that can fall under the gut health category. So it really comes down to what is the product going to do. We have created this product, GI Plus, essentially to help restore gut function from a baseline, from its base. Okay, so this is not a band-aid, this is not a mask. A lot of people are using, quote unquote gut health products, which, for example, one of the first things that a doctor typically recommends on many cases is something like Miralax whenever gut issues are present or there's constipation. That does nothing but then mask what's really going on. It's a band-aid. It brings basically more water into the colon, but yet in terms of your actual gut bacteria, overall gut health, nothing is changing in that environment. So you're just putting a mask and a band-aid on a problem that's not being solved by that recommendation. What we really recommend is you figure out what is causing the internal issue to be present, remove those causes, and then add something like GI Plus in to help restore proper gut function from the start. I really want to make a note that we are not just people that want to just push products on you. We are creating products to help with a solution or to help you in whatever your goal might be. Okay, so for example, glucose is a product that's going to help you better absorb and utilize carbohydrates. All right, that isn't necessarily dependent or independent on your gut health specifically. So in terms of anything, we really want gut health to be the primary focus, to then that way everything you do and all the food you consume is properly absorbed and utilized. Chances are, or not chances are, but if you have a problem with properly absorbing carbohydrates, you might have an issue that lies deeper within the gut. Okay, so that might be why your blood sugar is higher, or it might be staying at a higher rate throughout the day, post-meal, pre-meal, upon waking. Again, address the root issue, and then once that root issue is addressed, then other factors in terms of blood sugar, in terms of your body's ability to produce enzymes to break down food, those things should change over time. I'm very confident that if you guys have gut issues that are present, this is going to help restore them. Again, first address the foods that you're eating, and if you're having bad reactions or adverse reactions from food itself, address the food first, then go on to your product like GI Plus, and then long term you should be able to transition off of this product because you have healthy gut bacteria and you've reestablished a healthy gut environment, and then you should not need additional products consistently to then further help your gut. When we're looking at GI Plus and its function to restore essentially proper gut function, proper good bacteria, mucus lining within the gut, those things are all going to be dependent on what you're consuming, what you're eating, foods that possibly are not digesting well for you, foods that are causing an adverse reaction, what are your hydration levels on a daily basis. So if you're somebody that thinks that you need these types of foods, this type of product, look at what's happening in your body. What is your biofeedback when you consume a certain food? Do you feel bad? Do you feel bloated? Do you feel like it causes acute inflammation within your body? I would first remove those foods. Other main things that are basically staring us right in the face in terms of our biofeedback is how healthy are our bowel movements? How frequent are our bowel movements? Are they watery? Is it hard to go to the bathroom? Look at all those factors. And then again, this is a part of a solution. The food has to be right and it has to be in place. Not all quote unquote healthy food is food that can be digested for all individuals. So you need to be looking at the food itself and if anything is causing an issue in terms of the food that you're consuming. And then also, again, hydration levels are going to play a key role here. So this is one part of a bigger overall solution in terms of fixing and restoring gut health within you as an individual. I personally, my viewpoint on taking any type of digestion product is to take it in a fasted environment when the gut has had the greatest amount of clearance throughout the night, throughout proper rest. So then you could put this product in and allow it to be absorbed in an environment where it's not competing and there's not food present and it just is absorbed very easily. So that is my personal preference. I've been using these ingredients specifically since 2018, and I always consume it first thing upon waking, and I let it get into my system for a little bit, and then about 30 minutes later is when I go on to have my first meal of the day. The answer, I want to be as real as possible. It can and it can't. If she's, one of the things that misconceptions within quote unquote eating healthy is the fact that not all healthy foods can be properly absorbed by all individuals. Okay, so again, I would really look to rule out any possible outliers, any possible inflammatory foods that she's having. And then from that point, once you rule out those outliers and they are out of her system, then I would implement something like GI Plus to then help regulate and restore healthy gut function within her as an individual. That's how I would really focus on this. We are not using this product as a crutch or as something to then compensate for foods that the body is really not handling well. So first look at the foods, remove out foods that possibly might be causing issues. Some of these most common foods, within healthy realms are fiber intake being too high. So fibrous foods, for example, skins on potatoes, oats, different types of potatoes sometimes can cause issues. Also, any food that we overly consume, if we're not having proper digestion within that overconsumption of food, that in of itself can create a reaction within the body to slow digestion of that source. Okay, so that's also very important to note. So yes, it can help, but this is not going to basically rule out the fact that she might be consuming some foods that are not helping her in terms of digestion as a whole. So rule out those foods, get those foods out, pay attention to your biofeedback. An elimination diet is a very easy way to do this. If you're having certain issues within your diet, remove foods one by one until those issues are cleared. And then once those issues are cleared, this product is great for gut restoration, but we have to get those outliers out first.